I'm Larissa Reid, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to warm up for a winter sale. People think that spring is the best time to sell because that's what they hear in the media. They hear about all the properties that are going on the market in spring. But what you don't realise is that during spring, that is when a lot of people get their homes on the market, and so therefore there's a lot more competition. The thing about winter is that being winter doesn't actually stop people from doing things like getting married, having children, changing jobs. So they still need to buy houses, they still need to move. So it's actually a great time to sell. And in fact, the proof is in the pudding right now. Every house that I've got on the market is getting record numbers of people coming through. And everybody's complaining there is just not enough to buy. So if you're going to sell in winter, what are some ideas of how to get the most out of your sale? Tip number one is to think about your heating. People don't want to come from a really cold winter day into a house that can sometimes be even colder, particularly if it's a sunny day and they've been driving around, they're in the car, they're warm, they've got the sunshine on them, and then they come into a house that's absolutely freezing. So make sure that you do put some heating on before you open home. Get it warmed up before the agent gets there. The agent would probably know enough to turn heaters on, but by then it's probably a bit too late. So get the heaters on, make sure the doors are all closed before people get there, because people will be opening doors when they get there. That's tip number one. Tip number two for a winter sale is lighting. As the days are shorter and the sun is lower, it normally is a little bit darker inside the house. So you need to make sure that before the open home starts, you turn on every light in the house. You might think that people would see this as a bit obvious, but it's not. People don't really notice where the light source is coming from. They just see that there's light. So make sure you get all your lights on. And if you don't have appropriate lighting for the house, do get the appropriate lighting. So invest in some lamps. Make sure that you've got the right wattage of light bulbs, that your house is lovely and bright. And the other thing too is if you use the low wattage bulbs, that's another reason for turning the lights on before the real estate agent gets there, because sometimes they can take a little while to get up to their top lighting. Tip number three for a winter sale is about warming up the inside of your home in the decorating sense. So it will be darker, it will be a little bit duller in the day. So get some nice, make sure you've got some rugs, make sure you've got some nice coloured cushions, that sort of thing on your lounge, maybe a throw rug, maybe a nice throw rug on your bed. Just do a few little things like that to brighten things up. Some flowers can bring a bit of spring into the house. So people will be paying a lot more attention to the inside of your house during winter, because the outside is, to be honest, often quite boring. So just make sure that there is interest there and there's lots for them to look at and lots for them to basically get pleasure out of, because that's what you want. You want people to feel happy when they're inside your house, and that will in turn make them want to live there. Number four, and this is my last tip for warming up for winter, is about the outside. Now, your garden's not going to be at its best, but do make sure that you give everything a trim. Make sure there's no dead flowers left over from spring. Just give everything a good old prune and make sure it's very neat and tidy. Another nice tip is, if you do have a nice little sunny spot in your garden, you can always dress that up before people come over for the open house. You can put a nice comfy chair out there, maybe a day bed, something like that, with some colourful cushions. You can even put a couple of books on there to show people what the area can be used for. And it's just about creating the idea of a lifestyle and making people want to actually live there. Thanks for listening to my tips to warm up for a winter sale. I'm Larissa Reid, and I'll see you next time.